Well, hello YouTube, it's Neutrino Ghost here, and I've got a bit of a presentation video for you here on how to read METARs. I've had a couple of requests from people, mainly new people new to flying, new to aviation, people that just have a general interest in aviation, and new PPL holders may not be fully aware of how to read a METAR or a METAR, depending on how you wish to pronounce it. So this video is just a quick overview really as to what they are, where you get them from, and how to read them. First of all, METAR, what does it mean? Well, it's an acronym, METAR. You can pronounce it however you wish, METAR, and it stands for a meteorological aerodrome report, or an airfield report, again depending on whereabouts you live. They're not issued at the beginning of every day like you may expect, because the nature of a METAR is that it is a report. It is a way of giving you up-to-date current information. So there's no point in the METAR being released at 9 o'clock in the morning if you're flying into an airfield at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they're actually issued approximately every 30 minutes. There are exceptions to this. There are a few military bases which will issue them every 60 minutes, but the overwhelming majority of airfields and airports will issue them every 30 minutes. And they're issued at 20 minutes past every hour and 50 minutes past every hour. So, for example, 20 past 10 and 10 to 11. So, at 20 past the hour and 10 minutes to the hour. And on the METAR themselves, you'll see them written like that. 10:20 Zulu or 17:50 Zulu are two example times. That's how they are written. So the first one is obviously 20 past 10 AM Zulu time, and the second one is 17:50 Zulu. Also note that you only get the METARs during the operational periods of the aerodrome. So if you're flying into an aerodrome for whatever reason outside of hours, don't expect the METAR to be up to date. Pay attention, okay? There's quite a lot of things that are reported on the METAR. As you can see, we've got a list of them here, and those are the location, the wind, the visibility, the current or any significant weather to aviation, the cloud, temperature and dew point, the QNH, recent weather, and a trend. I'm going to go over all of these in order, in enough detail that you'll understand what they all are, but not enough detail that you're going to get bored. You'll notice that I've put 5 red dots on wind, visibility, cloud, temperature, dew point, and QNH, and the key at the bottom states that they are mandatory. So on the smallest METAR you will at least get all of those, okay? The blue asterisk indicates that the visibility in the cloud can be replaced by a term known as CAV-OK. CAV-OK is again an acronym, and it stands for Ceiling and Visibility OK. It's going to be put into much more detail. If you watch my other video, I have another video on TAFs, which are another type of weather report. They're actually a forecast. A TAF is a terminal aerodrome forecast, and I go into a little bit of detail about CAV-OK in that video. So click on the link, and I'll put another link in the description, and have a look at the TAF video, and that explains what I mean by replaced by CAV-OK. So number 1 on the list, location. What you're going to get at the top of the METAR, the first thing you'll read is the 4-letter ICAO code, because if you're flying into or out of an aerodrome, it's useful to know that you're looking at the METAR for the correct airfield. So you'll get a 4-letter ICAO code. Example, in Birmingham we have EGBB, Gatwick is EGKK, Heathrow is EGLL, Luton Airport is EGGW, the airfield I fly out of at the moment, Taton Hill, is EGBM, that's Echo Golf Bravo Mike. Different countries have different codes. They're all 4-letter. In the UK they all start with E. In America they all start with K. So John F. Kennedy Airport is KJFK. I believe San Francisco is KSFO. Seattle International is KSEA. Los Angeles International is KLAX. They vary around the world, but what you'll get is a 4-letter identifier telling you what airport this report is for. So sometimes, at least in the UK, I couldn't find much information out about this, but I know that sometimes on METARs you may get the two letters SA placed in front of the identifier. SA simply means surface actual. So you would get, for instance, SA e.g. KK. That means a surface actual for Gatwick. Because it's a surface actual, it is the actual conditions on the surface at the aerodrome at that time. So you can tell it's a METAR. Sometimes it might not distinguish clearly whether you're reading a METAR or a TAF. So if you see SA, you know it's a surface actual, therefore it's a report, it's not a forecast. Next on the list we've got wind. The wind is given in the wind direction is given in degrees true to the nearest 10 degrees, and the letters VRB for variable are used if the wind isn't coming from just one direction. Note that I know this may be moderately patronising, but some people still find this hard to get into their heads. Wind direction is always given in the direction the wind is coming from, not where the wind is going to. Okay, you need to know where the wind is coming from. The speed is also given in knots, of course, and the speed given is an average of the last 10 minutes. If you have gusty conditions, which obviously can't be taken into an average, because the gust may be substantially stronger than the average wind, you'll get the letter G used. I've got some examples here for you. First example is very simple. This is how it will be written on the METAR. 24008 KT simply reads, the wind is coming from 240 degrees true at 8 knots. Very simple. Second example, slightly longer. The wind is coming from 240, but it's variable to 310. So it's coming from somewhere between 240 and 310. The wind speed is 14 knots, and it's gusting 22 knots. Okay? The gust is really important to take into account if you have an aircraft which has a crosswind limit which is obviously less than the gusting limit, then you need to work out the crosswind component for your aircraft and your runway and figure out whether or not you can still fly. Note also that the variability of the wind is given clockwise. So you can see there in this example it says 240 variable to 310. So that variability is in a clockwise direction. Next we have visibility. Very simple to read. It's given in meters, classic SI units. If the visibility is extremely good with 10 kilometers or greater, then you get 9999 reported, sometimes referred to verbally as all the nines. So you may hear someone say, yeah, visibility is all the nines. That just means that it's 10k or above. If the visibility is very poor, at less than 50 meters, then you'll simply get 0000 reported. Simple example, it's just written on the METAR as the visibility in meters. It's really that simple. It will be between 0000 and 9999. Occasionally the visibility may not necessarily be uniform in all directions, in which case you can get something written that looks like this, which has 6,000 meters to the north and 3,500 meters to the west. Okay. Note that the units are not given. You're kind of expected to know that. So 7,000, 6,000, 4,000, 2,000, it's in meters. Next we have the weather. Now, the weather is any significant weather to aviation that is currently present or within the vicinity of the aerodrome. And the weather is given by two letters. Examples are RA, will tell you that there's rain currently present. SN means there is snow currently present. And you can use up to 3 groups at any one time. Now, I'm going to give you a link on the video, which you should be able to see now, and I'm also going to put a link in the description onto a meteorological website which gives you a list of all the different possible types of weather. There are not huge amounts of them, but there's enough of them. There are things that mist, for example, dust storms, drizzle, funnel clouds, smoke, hail, shallow mist, dust devils, rain, showers, snow, thunderstorms, volcanic ash, sandstorms, all of these things that are significant to aviation, things that could present you with a problem. and actually, yeah, simple example at the bottom. RASH simply means moderate showers of rain. You can see there in the second bullet point I've said severity described by plus, which means heavy, and minus, which means light. If you get no plus or minus, it means it's moderate. So the example I've given at the bottom, ignore the small dash, the hyphen between the word example and the example itself. That's not a negative sign. So RASH would be read as simply moderate rain with showers. The plus and minus signs are prefixes, so they can be at the beginning of the letters. So if that said plus RASH, it would mean heavy rain or heavy showers and rain. Plus SN means heavy snow. Minus DZ would be light drizzle. Cloud. Right, cloud is reported by giving you the cloud coverage in something called an octa. An octa, as you can probably guess from the word, means eighths. It gives you the cloud coverage in eighths of the sky. Okay? It also gives you the cloud base height in feet above aerodrome level. Now, if you see the term SKC, that means 0 octas. That means that no eighths of the sky are covered, which means sky is clear, there are no clouds. The word few is used to describe 1 to 2 octas of the sky, okay? Which is about 12 to 25% or so of the sky is covered. Scattered, SCT, 3 to 4 octas, so that varies from about, obviously where an octa is an eighth, so 4 octas is a half. So that means that about 50% of the sky is covered. And 3 octas is about 30, if I'm correct, about 37.5% of the sky, roughly. Broken, BKN, 5 to 7 octas, and OVC means overcast. So if it's overcast, there is no clear parts of the sky. 8 octas of the sky are covered with cloud, so it's overcast. It's cloud in every direction, all over. Okay? An example I've given there, few 008, scattered 1200. What that means, if you were to look at that, that would read there are few clouds, 1 to 2 octas of cloud at 800 feet, and there are 3 to 4 octas of cloud at 1,200 feet. And you can get numerous ones of these which describe what the cloud level is. You'll get a cloud base and a cloud ceiling. So few at 800, scattered at 1,200 feet. I've also put a note at the bottom saying TCU and CB may be added if required. TCU is a type of cloud. It's called a towering cumulus, and it's a very, very big cloud associated with very heavy convective activity, very dangerous for aviation. And a CB is a cumulonimbus cloud, which is a thunderstorm cloud, exceptionally dangerous to aviation. So you could get, for example, the TCU or the CB would be placed on the end of that line. So you could get few at 800, scattered at 1200 CB, or scattered at 1200 TCU. The TCU and the CB are the only two actual types of cloud which will ever be mentioned in a METAR. You won't get any of the types of cloud mentioned. They only mention those two because they are significant to aviation and they are a significant hazard. Next on the list we have probably the most simple of everything on the list, temperature dew point. 2 figures for the temperature and 2 figures for the dew point given in degrees Celsius or centigrade. Simple example, 15/07. That means the temperature is 15 degrees Celsius and the dew point is 7 degrees Celsius. Now some people may question, what is the point of having a temperature and a dew point? Why is that important? It's very important when you come to look at things like forecasts, because the weather might be clear, okay? But let's imagine you were looking at that and the temperature was 8 and the dew point was 7. Now if you're not planning to get to your aerodrome for another hour or so and you're looking at a forecast and you're flying in late afternoon, maybe early evening, and you can see the temperature is dropping, if it's 8 degrees now and the dew point is 7. That means that the temperature overall only has to drop by 1 degree, and then all the moisture in the air is going to condense out into mist or fog, which means that your landing may be postponed and you may have to go and land somewhere else. So in actual fact, it's very simple to read but very important. QNH. QNH. It's a barometric pressure setting. In the UK we call this a regional pressure setting. And the units are hectopascals as of November 2011. We used to use millibars. I think I've got that next. Yeah, it equals the same as a millibar. So 1 hectopascal is exactly the same as 1 millibar. You'll notice that the QNH is given in these units preceded by the letter Q. Example, Q1024 means the QNH is at 1024 hectopascals, or 1024 hectopascals, or before November 2011 it was 1024 millibars. The small asterisk I've put there denotes not everyone will use these units. In America they tend to use inches of mercury instead. So in the UK the standard pressure setting is 1013 hectopascals. In America it's 29.92 inches of mercury. Now because the units are different, the Q will be replaced by the letter A. So if you're flying somewhere, whatever you do, don't get the units mixed up. Most altimeters on aircraft will have both scales. On the left hand side, for example, I can't remember which is which, but on one side of the altimeter you'll see hectopascals, which again equate to millibars. So the unit on the actual dial may still read MB for millibars. Don't worry about it, it's exactly the same as hectopascals. And on the other side of the altimeter you may see a different type of scale, which equates to inches of mercury. So depending on whether you're reading Q or A, make sure you read the right one and make sure you look at the right dial on the instrument. Next on the list we've got recent weather. This is only added if it's appropriate. If there is any significant weather which has recently passed by the aerodrome, a recent weather front has passed through the aerodrome, through the area, it will be reported. It's prefixed with RE, which means recent, and it uses exactly the same codes as you get for general weather. That was the same ones for rain, snow, sleet, hail, mist, etc., etc. So an example would be RETS, recent thunderstorms. That means that there are no thunderstorms at the moment which would have been reported in the weather section. However, there have been recent thunderstorms. They have passed through, so be aware there still could be moderate strong winds, there could be wind shear. The ground is no doubt going to be quite wet. If there's lots of electrical activity in the air, you may have problems with communication, things like that. Not necessarily terribly important for commercial aviation, but for general aviation it's very important. Now a trend. A trend is a forecast, if you will, that is placed sometimes, but not always, at the end of a report. So it's kind of like a TAF, a small 2-hour TAF, which is placed at the end of a METAR. And it is a forecast describing a permanent or a temporary change in the reported weather for a 2-hour period after the observation. Okay? Any of the wind, weather, visibility or cloud groups may be used prefixed by the following. I'll explain this to you now. I'm going to go through all of these. Okay, let's just go to that one first. So, you'll have your METAR, and you'll have your ICAO identifier, your wind, your visibility, your weather, your cloud groups, your temperature, your dew point, your QNH, your recent weather, and right at the end you may get one of these. BECMG means becoming. This means that what you are about to read after this trend is a permanent change. The weather is becoming whatever you are about to read. A temporary change simply means that there is a temporary period sometime in the next 2 hours where the following weather is about to and probably will take place. No sig simply means there's no significant change. A lot of times you won't get no sig because if there's no significant change, then there's no point in putting a trend on it as far as I see. But you still get them from time to time, and as you can see, NSW, NSC, no significant weather to report. Again, that no significant weather means there's none of these rain, drizzle, snow, sleet, hail, blah blah blah. None of those to report, and no significant cloud. Okay, and by significant cloud, again, we mean towering cumulus and cumulonimbus clouds. So an example would be tempo 0500 FG BKN 001. This would be placed at the very end of the METAR, okay? And it means that you've read the METAR, you've got your QNH, there's no recent weather to worry about. However, temporarily, the weather will be 500 meters visibility with fog and broken cloud at 100 feet. Okay? Now, the asterisk you can see on tempo, there's a bit more to it, okay? It doesn't just mean temporarily. It does, but there's more that you need to understand. If you watch my video on forecasts, I go into that in a lot more detail. So have a look at that video, and I go into a whole page on what tempo means. Now, I've got some real-world examples here that I've given from the Met Office website. And the first one we're going to do is that one. So, this is a METAR. This is taken straight from the Met Office website, and it says EGNX, which is the ICAO code for East Midlands Airport. The report was given, or the observation was made, should I say, on the 1st of the month. That's what the 01 stands for. The next numbers, the 2220Z, mean the time that the observation was made. So the whole of the first group means that the observation was made on the 1st of the month at 22:20 Zulu. So 20 past 10 PM Zulu. The next group is your wind, and that says the wind is coming from 360 degrees at 4 knots. And remember, that's in degrees true. The next group is your visibility. Very simple. The visibility is 7,000 meters. The next group is your cloud. The cloud is broken, so that's 5 to 7 octaves at 500 feet. The next group is your temperature and dew point. Temperature is 8 degrees, the dew point is 7 degrees. So again, if it's early in the day, it's not an issue. Chances are the temperature is going to rise. If it's late evening, however, take note that the temperature could be dropping to 7 degrees, and if it does drop to 7 degrees, then you're going to end up with a mist and fog situation. Pay attention to that. And the last one, your QNH, nice and easy. QNH is 1022 hectopascals. Next example, EGLL, slightly bigger one, and this is a METAR for Heathrow, and it says at EGLL, the report was made on the 27th of the month, and the report time, or the observation time, was 12:50 Zulu. Okay, and remember, this is a 24-hour thing, so that means that this report was made at 10 to 1 in the afternoon Zulu. The wind is coming from 110 degrees true at 13 knots, and the wind direction is variable between 070 and 150. You can see there that the actual wind says 110 at 13 knots, but then there's variability, which means that although it's predominantly coming from 110, it's actually varying between 070 and 150. And note again, the 070 150 is clockwise. The visibility is 10 kilometers or more, all the nines. The cloud base is few clouds at 4,000 feet. So few again is, if I remember, 1 to 2 octaves. So it's generally quite clear. The temperature is 25 degrees. The dew point is 11 degrees. And the QNH is 1019. Two more examples for you. EGGW, that's a METAR for Gatwick Airport, and that says again the report was made on the 27th of the month at 12:50 Zulu. The wind direction is coming from 110 degrees true at 8 knots, and it's 080 varying 140. Now we have a CAV-OK there. Watch my TAF video. I've got a whole page on CAV-OK. But remember, for now, CAV-OK is an acronym. It means Ceiling and Visibility OK. It essentially means that the visibility is good, the cloud base is nice and high, nothing to worry about. There is a caveat to that comment. Please watch my TAF video. I go into detail about CAV-OK. There's more to it than meets the eye. Generally speaking, however, on a METAR, if you see CAV-OK, most of the time it means that the weather's fine, the weather's all good, nothing to worry about. Okay? We have temperature of 25 degrees, the dew point is 12 degrees, and the QNH again 1019. The last one is EGXW, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the code for Waddington, RAF Waddington. And this says that the observation date was the 8th of the month. The time of the observation was 21:50 Zulu, so it's a nighttime observation. The wind is coming from 340 degrees at 4 knots. It's very light. The visibility is 8,000 meters. It's slightly hazy. That's what HZ stands for. Again, that's one of the two-letter identifiers for the weather. The cloud is scattered. That is 3 to 4 octaves at 600 feet. It's broken 5 to 7 octaves at 1,300 feet. The temperature is 8. The dew point is 7. And the QNH is 1022. Now, if you want to get hold of some of this information for yourself, you can go to the Met Office website. You can sign up for free, get yourself an account, and then when you log in, you'll come across a page like this for aviation briefing services. And on here you can get all of your Form 214s, which are your UK spot wind charts. You can get your low-level overall weather chart. So let's have a look at this for today. Spot wind 215. Click on that, and you can get all of this information. It's all free to sign up. It's very useful. And you can get all your TAFs and all your METARs. So if we click on the required part of the country, click on METARs, and here you go. All the different airports in the UK, and here are all your different METARs. I'm also going to put a description in the link to other websites which give you detailed descriptions of how to read METARs. If you've got any problems, feel free to comment, email me, and I'm going to also put a link to my TAF video. Watch that. Any questions, let me know. Thanks very much.